they should avoid riding.
Shit, nigga, I'll ride it regardless. You could put it in any type of way, any type of position, any type of sensation. I don't really care. Blood pressure, motion sickness, whatever type of sickness, I'll ride it regardless. Pause. It's a hotel called the Tower of Terror. You think I want to stay in a hotel where potentially dudes like Diddy can go and grab up on me? Hell nah. Disneyland, the place where people go to have a good time, can oftentimes turn into some of the darkest, evil place you could ever imagine. So today we're gonna check out the dark side of Disney parks.
Disney is a place full of joy and wonder, where magic comes to life. But on the other hand, the beloved theme parks have an unknown dark side. Throughout the years, there have been numerous terrifying reports of ghosts, hauntings, deaths, and other unsettling incidents at the amusement parks.
I mean, I was gonna ask how you die at Disney, but there's a lot of different ways.
From dumping ashes onto the rides to some of the park's most gruesome tragedies, these are the deaths and ghosts of Disney parks.
Okay, let's see it.
That this video does get disturbing, and it mentions actual awful incidents that happened to people at Disney, alongside some more urban legendy things.
Oh my gosh.
On July 8th, 1974, a horrible incident occurred.
July 8th, 1974. What happened, bro?
The America Sings ride. An 18-year-old employee, Deborah Gallstone, met her demise, the infamous...
Bro, Deborah is such a 1974-ass name, bro. In 2024, if you're walking around with the name Deborah, you gotta be at least 65, bro. Facts.
Attraction a mere 9 days after it went public. She'd taken a job at a hostess at Disneyland to raise money for her college tuition. Her duty was to welcome every new crowd while they sat at the theater before the show, and then bid them farewell when it ended. It's vital to cover how this ride operates to understand Stone's grisly end. The attraction was at the Carousel Theater. The building had 6 stages, linked by divider walls, which could turn around every 2 to 4 minutes. The walls shifted towards each other on the stage's left side and then locked in position to split each stage from the rest.
Right.
In layman's terms, it functioned like a merry-go-round. Each show lasted 24 minutes, and once they concluded, the ride operators had 45 seconds to get everything ready for the upcoming run. If you've been to Disney World and gone to the Carousel of Progress ride, it's pretty much the same thing as that.
Never
On
been?
the day of her passing, Stone was brutally crushed between 2 of the building's walls during the spree.
No! Bro, she got sandwiched between these 2 blades, bro.
On the day of her passing, Stone...
Damn, this gotta be one of the worst ways to go out. In terms of pain, bro, I'd rather get shot or electrocuted or something, man.
was brutally crushed between 2 of the building's walls during the spree.
Rest in peace, man.
As it turns out, there was a tight opening that allowed the stages to move between one of its motionless walls and a rotating wall. Unfortunately, Stone somehow ended in that crevice, and it killed her at 10:37 p.m. Many believe that she may have stepped back or fallen or attempted to leap onto another stage as the wall was moving. However, speculation aside, it was never determined how exactly Stone found herself in this distressful situation. A park goer in an adjoining theater, 33-year-old Daniel Robinson, heard the girl's screams as the wall crushed her. The man told the authorities that he had seen Stone get crushed between the stage and the wall, which is when he began hearing her scream. Robinson immediately made the Disney staff aware of the accident. When they were resetting the ride at 11 p.m., Robinson and the operators found her, but sadly, Stone was already deceased. Following her demise, Disney temporarily closed the attraction. As they investigated, while the ride was out of commission, Disney installed safety lights and cleaned out the spot where Stone died. 3 days later, America Sings was back up and running. Soon after the incident, the park made the theater walls breakable to prevent another accident. In response to their loss, Stone's parents stated that they chose to sue Disneyland, though they didn't blame the park for their daughter's death, and some months later, they settled for an unknown amount. Her father Bill said, "It was a small settlement. It certainly wasn't for money. It was to make sure that changes and improvements were made on that particular run."
Shit, bro, you better than me, man. I would have got that bag. Oh, hell no. I'm suing you for $30 billion. And if you don't have that by tomorrow night, it's over.
And any others that needed it if there was any kind of danger present. 14 years later, on April 10th, 1988, Disney put an end to America Sings. The story of Disneyland's most brutal accident is haunting, but we can take solace in the fact that the public hasn't forgotten about Stone, and neither has her family. When remembering her daughter, her mother Marilyn said, "A lesson that I learned is that you really need to make sure your relationships with people are right, because you never know how long that person's going to be here. I'm so thankful that we always had a wonderful relationship with our daughter. She was very loving and very kind. You hear about people's problems with their teenagers, but we never had that with Deborah." Bill stated, "Sometimes she would come to us and she would weep over friends of her who had maybe gone into drugs, or she would see what was happening to some people, even people she didn't know, and say, 'What can I do to help them?' That was Debbie."
That's just incredibly sad, man. You gotta feel for the parents, the loved ones, the friends, the family in the situation, man, because, like, it's just not easy losing a loved one.
May Deborah rest in peace, and may those affected by her passing heal their emotional wounds.
You put this ugly-ass monster on my screen after the death of that girl, bro? What you want me to do? You want me to die next of a jump scare?
And keep her legacy alive at all costs. Unfortunately,
hopefully that's not insensitive. I'm sorry.
Kind of garnered a creepypasta sort of status to it because of how disturbing the nature of her death was. A video on YouTube exists claiming to show the footage of her being crushed, but it's completely fake and honestly incredibly disrespectful.
That's crazy. You made a reenactment of getting crushed by the thing for what purpose?
designed to simulate what an astronaut may feel like on a rocket ship, venturing to Mars, making it a very intense experience. So there's the Mars mission, or Orange mission. Here, passengers get a taste of gravity's regular force doubled. On the other hand, there's another mission, the Earth mission, or Green mission, which offers a tamer adventure. In the 20 years
Venus
since
mission?
inception, the attraction has earned itself an unrivaled level of notoriety. Like every ride, mission space is a minimum height requirement. If you want to go on the Orange mission, you must be at
44 inches. Okay, so I wouldn't be allowed on this ride due to the fact that I'm 5'4".
least 44 inches. If you want to go on the Green mission, you must be 40 inches or more. Throughout the attraction, at least a dozen warning signs can be seen. Aside from
5'4" is taller than those. I know, I got it.
there are video and audio warnings. These alerts notify people who hate simulators, spinning, confined dark spaces, and are susceptible to motion sickness that they should avoid riding. These same caution signs indicate that mission space may produce
Shit, nigga, I'll ride it regardless. You could put it in any type of way, any type of position, any type of sensation. I don't really care. Blood pressure, motion sickness, whatever type of sickness, I'll ride it regardless, man.
orientation,
Pause.
nausea, dizziness, or a headache. They also mention that anyone who suffers from inner ear problems, headaches, motion sickness, vertigo, migraines, or anxiety shouldn't ride. For safety, you should be in good health and free of high blood pressure, heart, back, or neck problems. Motion
EDP
sickness,
can't
or
go on
other
this.
conditions that can be aggravated by this adventure. Lastly, some warnings order attendees to keep their heads flat on their headrests. If a parkgoer disobeys this demand, the ride's centrifugal motion may lead to unpleasant effects like headache or dizziness, but in some cases it causes devastating situations.
Okay, like what?
From the summer of 2005 to the summer of 2006, 194 individuals were treated by AMTs following the ride. Most of these people were over the age of 55 and mainly struggled with vomiting, nausea, and dizziness. Of these 194, some had more concerning complications. 26 had trouble breathing, 25 fainted, and 16 suffered chest pain or irregular heartbeats.
Okay.
However, 2 unfortunate souls died after riding because of their pre-existing illnesses. One was a 49-year-old female, and the other was a 4-year-old boy.
Bro.
On June 13th, 2000.
Like, not to be offensive or something, but like, why do you have a 4-year-old boy and a 49-year-old taking these rides, man? No, you're not asking for it, but at the same time, like, you really gotta weigh the situation out, man. This dude is not big enough to get on the ride, and that lady is just old as dirt, bro. No offense.
2005, Dadi Bamuwamye and his mother Agnes hopped on the mission space ride.
Okay.
Immediately, she knew something was awry as her son's body was stiff and his legs spread out. Despite her worries, she simply believed that Dadi was scared and took his hand to calm him. But during the hectic experience, Dadi passed out, and once it came to a close, he was unresponsive and limp. Agnes quickly removed him from the attraction spacecraft, and a park worker rushed to help the distraught woman place her son on a bench. Together, they initiated CPR while they waited for medical professionals. When they arrived, paramedics took over and continued attempting to revive the boy, but to no avail, as he died shortly after at the local hospital. Disney temporarily shut down the ride and reopened it the next day after determining nothing was wrong. In addition, authorities stated that Dadi had met the minimum height requirement. The following day, an autopsy showed that there was no indication of trauma, which meant more tests had to take place to determine why the little boy tragically passed.
So why did he pass away? He was the height requirement? He had no pre-existing conditions? He must have got scared shitless, bro. That's gotta be the answer.
Months later, an updated autopsy revealed that the child's death was caused by cardiac arrhythmia due to myocardial hypertrophy, which essentially means he had an enlarged heart. His ailment made him an easy target for a sudden death in such a high-stress environment. This idiopathic
okay, so I was right. So like high pressure situation, he panicked, he got scared of shit, and he had an enlarged heart already. So how did you not know he had an enlarged heart at birth though? Like, I thought you're supposed to already know that. I don't know.
Undiagnosed at the time of his Disney trip. A year later, his parents sued Disney for a wrongful death and negligence, alleging that the park should have prevented their son from riding since he didn't meet the minimum height requirements. They also claimed that Disney failed to give the poor boy medical attention when he fell unconscious. In October 2006, the family settled with the corporation and dropped the case in early 2007. But only 2 months before Dadi's parents filed the lawsuit on April 11th, Hiltrud Blumel was transported to the hospital after going on the Orange mission, where she died a day later.
What?
The woman had hypertension issues, and the ride's sheer intensity caused her to have a stroke. An autopsy confirmed the hospital diagnosis of hypertensive bleeding within the brain. There was evidence of severe, long-standing high blood pressure. There was no evidence of trauma. Disney shut down the attraction for 2 days and had it back up and running on the 13th.
Damn, they didn't give a fuck, bro. They're like, yo, you die, you get fucked up on our ride, whatever. You sign some papers, sign some documents saying, oh, I agree that if I die, it's cool. We're gonna put this ride back on the road, bro. Sorry. Bro, you know them niggas up there are corporate and desperate for that money, bro. That paper, that green, cash, guap, whatever you want to call it, man. They are about their bread only.
Despite these terrible deaths, Mission Space remains open to this day. One can only be thankful that incidents like this are rare, and hope that it stays that way. May Dottie and Hiltrud rest in peace. From my personal experience, Mission Space has always felt like a ride where I could get injured, and that's largely due in part to playground rumors.
Mark
On May
Maples.
15th, 1964, 15-year-old Mark Maples got in line to ride the Matterhorn bobsleds with two buddies at around midnight.
1964? Holy shit. How long were these rides operating, bro? They could not have been safe if they were operating in 1964, bro. You mean to tell me that the technology back then was good enough to have these crazy ass roller coasters going around and shit? Hell no. Oh, nah. There was probably an accident every 2.5 days.
This attraction was one of Disney's first roller coasters, and it was fast, with many twists and turns,
Okay.
inside of a snowy mountain. Given its high velocity, ride operators instructed park goers to wear lap belts on their bobsleds to avoid any problems.
Makes sense.
When it was their turn to hop on, Maples sat between his friends, and since it was dark, they couldn't see well. As
Right.
the bobsled started going down the mountain, one of Mark's buddies felt a
Get some glasses, dude. Like me.
bump, which he believed was Maples. He told the media there was no way to tell what he was doing. It's kind of a bumpy ride. I was looking up, heard a noise, looked down, and recognized Mark's sweater as he was falling out the ride, said his other friend. The exact details of what transpired that night are uncertain, but Disney theorizes that Mark undid his seatbelt and stood up while the ride was moving at an estimated rate of 20 miles per hour. He then seemingly hit his head on the concrete mountain's side and fell vertically about 1 foot,
bruh.
lying beside the track of the sled. The following day, Mark's dad stated the park staff didn't believe his friends when they said he had fallen out. It wasn't until two girls who were on the ride behind them verified the story before it was shut down. When EMTs came to the scene, Maples was out cold and immediately taken to the hospital for critical.
Bro, Maples, bro, you're too old to be doing that, man. Who do you think you are? Superman or something? You're not gonna break that. It just doesn't work like that. Sit your ass down on the ride and enjoy it.
At trauma. The teenager was placed on a ventilator and unfortunately succumbed to his injuries
Damn,
4
man.
days later. Despite their best efforts, investigators could never establish what occurred that fateful night, as Mark's death was eventually ruled as an accident. His passing is marked as the first in Disneyland's history. May he
Oh
rest in
shit. So bro's a legend. Rest in peace to you, and you have cemented your legacy in the Hall of Fame of Disney deaths. Somehow, man. I guess.
For our fifth story, we have the Tower of Terror Ghost.
Okay, Tower of
A
Terror
former
Ghost.
Disney cast member has haunted the Tower of Terror for ages. The employees of this attraction are bellhops, considering the tower is
It's a hotel called the Tower of Terror? You think I want to stay in a hotel where potentially dudes like Diddy can go and grab up on me? Hell nah.
a hotel ride. This ride has 4 loading docks: Charlie, Bravo, Alpha, and Delta. These platforms load onto
Where's Sigma at?
2 drop shafts.
Sorry, my bad.
Foxtrot and Echo. A long time
Okay.
ago, one of these bellhops was working Delta and boarding visitors onto the ride. Out of nowhere, the man collapsed and died. The cause of his death is still unknown, and despite his sudden passing, the ride was never closed. When the park shut down for the night, bellhops must ensure that the ride is functioning properly and would have to ride each platform individually. The issue was riding Delta. Park staff would ride Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie first, then go on Delta together because the dead bellhop allegedly haunted the stop. While no one has ever claimed that he's dangerous, like George, his goal is to mess with the workers as they were riding Delta. It would suddenly stop at random intervals. The lights would also flicker. Certain cast members have stated that the specter could be spotted in the tower's boiler room.
Oh,
They'd
nah,
catch a
bro.
glimpse of it.
You mean to tell me that the Akatsuki spawned in right here? No. You better run for your life.
From the corner of their eye, but once they tried to look at it straight, it vanished. A supposed video of the spirit has been captured at the ride. While there's no concrete evidence to support the validity of the story, just beware if you're ever on this ride and board the Delta platform. Speaking of found ghost footage...
You don't worry about me. I'm never getting on any of those rides. Actually, you know the crazy part is I was supposed to be going to Disneyland in a little bit. Not anymore, pal. In conclusion, Disneyland is dangerous as other theme parks, and as innocent and as fun and joyful as some of these places may seem, some crazy freak accidents have actually occurred, and some of them might not have been accidents. If you really know, you know. Walt Disney, you have 5.5 days to get back. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't know, I'm yapping, but not to be a conspiracy theorist or something, but that just is what it is. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, join the Discord, link in bio, link in the description. And with that being said, it's Love You Law. I love you, and I'm out.